divisibility by 7 is always a difficult problem. Yeah. The method we have learned so far do not seem to work for 7. So perhaps we should try a different method. Let us try it with 3 first and using the same number, 4, 6, 5. What did we do earlier? What we did was we split up the number into tens and then the unit digit. Then we split up the tens further into something is divisible by 3 and something else, and then you look at something else. You can look at the method as what we call making 10. That means you have a 10 and you break up into 9 and 1. And there are always 2 ways of break up 10 into 2 numbers and put together you make 10. But you can also make 10 by adding additional number. Four, 6, 0 plus 5, I plus another 5 times 9. Why 9? Because 9 is divisible by 3. So if I add up this number, which is divisible by 3, so to check that 4, check the whole thing here. Let me look at the whole thing here. This will be equal to 460 plus 5 times, this is 1, this is 9. 10. Can you see the 10 here? So I'm making 10 by adding an additional term. So now I can times 10 here. Is not divisible by 3. So if this number is divisible by 3, the number in the bracket must be divisible by 3. So to check that 465 is divisible to check whether 465 is divisible by 3 or not, all we need to do is to check the sum of this. What is the sum? The sum is the unit digit add to the rest. Let us say it as a rule. Yeah. So what is the rule? The rule says that if I want to find out whether the number is divisible by 3 or not, what I do is I break up the number into 2 parts, the unit digit and the rest. And then I add them up. If that number is divisible by 3, so is the original number. Let me add them up. So 46 465 is also divisible by 3. And now we have a new rule for the divisibility by 3. We have a new way of making 10. And using this new way of making 10, we found a new rule for divisibility by 3. Let us try this with 7. Here's a number 546. We ask whether this number is divisible by 7. We did exactly what we have done earlier. We break it up into 10 and the unit digit. Now the question is, what do I add on or minus some different numbers, and you can find out which one works, which one doesn't. Let me tell you what is the magic number. The magic number is 21. I take away 21 and not plus, because if I plus, I don't get 10. Now I cannot just minus anything at will. I must add the same number again so that I will keep the equality. So both sides are now equal. Let me work out the difference here, which is 540 and minus number, I copy it down again. Can you now see that this is divisible by 7? Can you also see that 10 is not divisible by 7? So, to check that whether this number is divisible by 7 or not, it all depends on the difference in the bracket. If the difference in the bracket is divisible by 7, then both numbers are divisible by 7, so is the sum, and therefore the given number will be divisible by 7. We can check that very easily. Yeah. So 54 minus So here is a rule again for the divisibility by 7. And take away from 54, and you arrive at a number. If that number is divisible by 7, then so is the original number. Let me summarize. So far we have given you some rules for divisibility by 2, 3, 5, 4, and 7. Yeah. So there are actually 3 kinds. Yeah. The first kind is that you look at a single digit or the double digit, and then you determine whether a number is divisible by 2, by 5, or by 4. Then there's another kind that you look at all the digits individually and you add it up, and then you see whether the sum is divisible by 3 or not. If it is, then the given number is also divisible by 3. Yeah. There is a third kind. That is when you see a number, you break it up into 2 parts, the unit digit and the rest. And you do something about it. And at the end of it, you decide whether the given number is divisible by 3 or by 7. Yeah. In the process, we also learn a little bit about how you investigate in mathematics. When you see a problem, how do you approach it? How do you go about solving it? Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed